Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. Mr. Alam, the AKF First Vice President, Assalamu alaikum. Our main speaker of today, Mrs. Dusana, hello. Mr. Javier Escalante, WKF Referee Commission, and the Sport Commission Chairman, hello sir. Mr. Mansour Sultan, AKF Referee Commission Chairman, our AKF Mansour, Dear Manson, AKF Chief Executive. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AKF Para Karate webinar. The Asian Karate Federation has, in the previous Executive Council meeting, decided to organize the first edition of Asian Para Karate Championship in 2022. However, most of the national federation in the Asia are not familiar with para karate, needless to say maintaining a national para karate team. Therefore, the AKF, with the full support of WKF, is organizing this webinar. The aim of this webinar is to provide an introduction of what is para karate, the training, the athletes, and the competition. The webinar is the beginning of the para karate development in Asia.
Hi everyone, I believe you are facing some slight technical difficulties with our Vice President. So nevertheless, we would also like to take this opportunity to say hello and to our Vice President, also to the Asia Karate
Major
Federation.
General Nasser Zugi, for making this webinar possible. I would like also to further thanks of our AKF General Secretary, Mr. John, AKF RC Chairman, Mr. Mansour, and the team working behind the scene to make this event successful. I finally would like to thank Mr. Roger Wang, who is the MC for today's event, and also his team assisting the AKF organizing the webinar. Thank you so much and good luck to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you to the Vice President of the Asia Karate Federation, Mr. Rashid Al-Ali, for your opening speech. Right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, nevertheless, we would like to also introduce the other Vice President of the Asia Karate Federation, Mr. Alam Alave. Hi, Mr. Alam. Hi. Okay, now, of course, I think next will be very important. In fact, today we have actually lined up very good itineraries for all of you who are attending our very first AKF Para Karate webinar. Okay, and we have none other than our Chief Executive Officer to address us. That is none other than Mr. Vincent Chen, our Chief Executive Officer of our Asian Karate Federation. Mr. Vincent Chen, please.
Hi, thank you, Roger. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to everyone, depending where you come from. On behalf of AKF, I would like to welcome all to attend this event. And our Vice President has informed us about the importance of para karate. I believe maybe some of you have missed out what he said. The main point that he has told us is this is the beginning of para karate in Asia. So we are looking forward to the development of para karate starting from next year. And the groundwork has to be done today. And we hope, the AKF hope, everyone at the end of this seminar will learn something, and we have we hope that we can successfully sow the seed of development for para karate in your country, and at the end the seed for the whole Asia. So joining us today, we have more than 30 countries from Asia, another 10 countries from outside Asia. So we have received registration of more than almost 400 people. And as at this moment of time, we have only registered 197 participants. So hopefully in the next 10 minutes, they can come in when our main speaker started their presentation. So I wish everyone good luck and good health, and hopefully to see you soon in the next AKF Championship. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and
Thank you.
gentlemen.
Thank you, our Chief Executive Officer from the Asia Karate Federation, for your fine words. And next, of course, we would like to invite the Referee Committee Chairman of Asia Karate Federation, which I think by now every one of you should be very familiar with him. And that's none other than Mr. Mansour Al-Sultan. Mr. Mansour, please. Mr. Mansour, you probably have to unmute.
Okay. Okay now? You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Rashid Alali, the Vice President of AKF, and Mr. Vincent, CEO, Asian Karate Federation, for this introduction. And I would like to welcome Ms. Lusana and Mr. Javier Escalante, who will help us in this field a lot. And I believe, and I'm sure, the content of their webinar or seminar is very valuable and useful and important for all of us. So I request all the audience, please, to listen carefully what they will say, because this is also a new experience for us. For the future of AKF, we will conduct the para karate in our competition. Although some countries in Asia, they already have the para karate, but among our continent, it is the first time. And I hope and I'm sure that the future is will be full of positive competition and experience of that kind of sport, which is the para karate. So also I would like to thank them to be here and share with us these valuable and important information. Thank you, Roger, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Mansour Al-Sultan, for your fine advice. So remember what our referee committee chairman has said. So pay particular attention. All right, I think that's a hint giving to all of you that para karate will take on a very big way in times to come. So today, I think being the very first Asia Karate Federation's para karate webinar, I think it could not have been timelier, as we are having the 2020 Paralympic Games Paralympic right now, which is happening in Tokyo right now. So today we have got very good, two very well-known speakers to be with us. First will be Dr. Dusana. So she actually holds a PhD in physical education and sports. And of course, she's also the chairwoman of the World Karate Federation Para Karate. And the second panelist speakers will be Mr. Hava Escalante, the chairman of the WKF Referee Commission and WKF Sports Commission. But first and foremost, let us give a big round of applause to Dr. Dusana to actually have a presentation on the para karate. Thank you. Please take it on.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the introduction. So I am very pleased I can be here today and I can inform you about para karate. And it is very good that the AKF is organizing this webinar, because we can spread para karate around the world using the same methodology. So I will go directly to my presentation. I hope that I will not have any technical problems. So if something happens, I will connect to the webinar again. So don't worry, I have one reserve computer here. Okay, first of all, I will say something about the content of the webinar. So I know you are starting from zero. So the first topic will be how to establish para karate in your national federation. I know that many people are not very familiar with para karate or para sports in general. So I will tell you some basic information how to join the Paralympic movement in your country, etc. The second and the biggest topic will be about para karate categories and para karate sport classes. So I will describe you each sports class, the performance, some basic training tips, and the minimal eligible criteria which are necessary for each sport class. And the last topic will be registration and classification of para karate athletes. Let's begin. We'll close this. Okay. The first step and the most important step in your country is to join the National Paralympic Committee, because if you are not very familiar with para sports, they will help you a lot. So please connect and send the application form to the local Paralympic movement, and they will help you with some basic information, and especially they will contact you with local organizations for people with disabilities. It was also the first step I made here in Slovakia. So now Slovak Karate Union is the member of the Slovak Paralympic movement. And in connection with this movement, we have prepared many presentations of para karate in our country, and they send our contacts to other organizations in other cities in Slovakia. Why they decided to bring us into the board? It was because we have very good infrastructure. We have more than 100 clubs in Slovakia and many coaches. I presented them the map of Slovakia, and you can see here that almost in each bigger city in our country is one or more club or one or more coach who is familiar with para sports and who can do would like to do para karate with some athletes. So this was the first biggest step. And then I have presented them what para karate is, or what karate especially is, because there is para taekwondo on the board. So I said something about differences in taekwondo and karate. The first information was that karate is a social sport, it's a lifestyle, and everybody have a purpose in life to do the sport, and everybody must have the possibility to do the sport, and karate is the best way how to take people from the isolation, and sport is a kind of socialization and make people happy. So we can reach many goals, and it is very good for athletes with disabilities. Para karate has many benefits, so it is not only about the belts and the medals during the competition. The benefits are on mind, body, and spirit. And the biggest or the main goal of WKF Karate is promote the integration of children, youngsters, and adults, and all people with special needs in martial arts and daily life. So please present this to your local national Paralympic movement, because all these benefits of karate are moved or transferred to the daily life. Then you can present that your national federation is a member of WKF, and WKF is recognized sports organization of the International Olympic Committee, and also, this is the most important thing, International Paralympic Committee and the Virtus organization. This is a special organization for people with intellectual disability. World Karate Federation has a very good infrastructure. We have 5 continental federations and almost 200 national federation members. So WKF and the Para Karate Commission do the best and very big changes which are important towards the Paralympic Games. So we will apply again for Paralympic Games, and the chance is for Paralympic Games 2028 in Los Angeles. So if they will say something bad, that the para karate is not in the program of Paralympic Games, don't worry, tell them that we are applying and we have a very big chance, because karate has very good power around the world. So we had the Olympic Games, and we had the two main categories there, and it was kata and kumite. During the para karate training, you can practice both disciplines, but for now, I'm telling for now, we have only the kata discipline. So all regulations about the kata discipline and the classification you can find on the WKF web page in the sections rules and regulations. So it is on the bottom of the WKF web page, and I will guide you through these documents during this webinar. So we have three main categories, and it is for people with visual impairment, then for intellectual disabled people, and wheelchair users. This big category is for people with physical impairment. According to Virtus I mentioned before, we have now the new category for people with more and with additional impairment and some severe impairment. So the K22 category is especially for people with Down syndrome, etc. So now we have four, not only three, but we have four sport classes for people with disabilities. They can compete for now only in kata, and the evaluation is given by 7 judges, and the highest and the lowest score is eliminated. And we have the same weight as able-bodied athletes, so 70% for technical performance and 30% for athletic performance. At the end, the extra score is given to the final evaluation. So we have, before the competition, a day of classification, and the team of classifiers is giving to the athletes their extra score according to the level of disability. The extra score is from 0 to 3, and it is based on some kind of measurements. I will talk about it a bit later during this webinar. So we have the same competition format as able-bodied athletes. So in case of 32 and less athletes, we will use this competition system. And at the end, 4 athletes will have a medal. 2 years ago, only 3 medals were given to the athletes. So I am the new para karate chairperson, and I'm very happy that we have now 4 medals for people with disabilities in each sport class. Please present to the National Paralympic movement that the karate is very cheap sport, because everybody can do karate in karate-gi. For visually impaired athletes, only blindfolds are mandatory, and for people with physical impairment, wheelchair is mandatory. I hope that we will have more classes in future for people with physical impairment, because we know that not everybody is daily user of the wheelchair. So I would like to improve this category in future. Now I will go to the visually impaired athletes. This video is from my club, and these athletes are healthy. They are only using the blindfolds, and you will see how difficult it is to perform the basic kata. I hope it works. No, yes, now. Javier will talk about the personal assistant responsibilities and also coach's responsibilities during the kata performance. So you can see that I'm guiding the athletes to the perimeter of competition area. And then I'm sitting on the side, and the athlete must perform the kata alone, absolutely alone. So I'm not going into the center of the tatami with the athlete. She doesn't have a problem with vision, so you will see how problematic it is. Look at the shikodashi. It was very high because she's worried about the stability. Look at the sanchindachi. It is not very correct. It is much wider. And now she lost the direction. and she is absolutely lost. So you can see that she finished on the side, not on the correct position. This is not a big mistake. You have to consider it in your evaluation. But what is necessary, I am sitting on the side here and I am thinking about the safety of the athlete. So I will stand up and I will catch the athlete on the side, because in case of the final mode on the platform, the athlete can fall down from the platform. So please take care about athletes and about the room where he or she is practiced the kata, because safety is on the first place. So this was Aka, and now we will have Ao. So you can compare the same kata here. She must know how many steps she is going forward, not to fall down from the platform. Stances are not very correct, and she lost the balance. It is very difficult to perform kata without the vision. Check how she is guiding the athlete. We are waiting for the referee, the young guy. And it was his decision. So it is the evaluation, it is on the evaluation of referees who will win, but as the first athlete lost the orientation and the second athlete lost the balance, it is on the referees who is better. So Javier will talk about it a bit later. And now check how we guide the athletes, how they will shake their hands. So we help them to shake hands. I know that now is COVID, it is not allowed, but in future maybe we can shake hands again. Okay, that's it. So some small tips for training with people with disabilities. Not all are totally blinded, but for competition we are using blindfolds, because it is a big advantage for athletes with some kind of vision during the training to see something or to orientate in the room and not lost the correct direction. So this is the reason why we are using blindfolds during competition. When they use the blindfolds, please provide to the person your arm, not pull the person, not push the person with the visual impairment. Just introduce yourself, who you are, what will you do with the person, and offer the arm. And walk absolutely normally, be confident, and take care about the surroundings and about the steps, and tell to the person that there will be one step or something else. I will show you this video on site. I hope it will work. Maybe not. I will try it again. No, I will try it like this. Okay. Okay, can you hear me? I hope yes. So I will try to play this video. Usually I have problems only during the presentation. When we were trying it, no problem.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, but the video doesn't work.
No,
I
no.
will try. I will
No
try it
problem.
like this. I will try it like this.
قناة ظريف.
No, the computer doesn't cooperate. So maybe it will work in future. I will say something about this video. I will send the link to the Mr. Vincent Chent. He can provide the link to the video. It works now. To AKF webpage. And you can see how you can work with the athletes. So you can provide them by yourself, but also you can use some equipment when you are practicing Sudachi or some another stance. You can give this thing there and teach them the correct distance, the correct length, etc. You can explain the movement by words, but you can also provide to the athletes some miniatures and for better imagination how the tatami looks like and where referees are sitting and how the stance looks like. So you can create some figures. You can be creative during training and look, they are using their hands. And you can provide them through the dojo where this is how it looks smaller, how it looks bigger, and count with them how many steps he or she can do through tatami and where is the end of tatami, etc. Look. So you can see the video later because it has more than 20 minutes. I will just show you the last thing. So they can use also the ball. It's not a problem. So if they can use the balls and play ice hockey or something like this, it is not a problem to teach them kata. So they can perform kata normally. Look, she is guiding his hand. So you can guide the hand.
We cannot see any video that you are mentioning.
Oh, I'm talking and talking because I'm sharing the screen, but I will try it again.
Yes, it's better that way.
We haven't get.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Yes, probably this will be better.
Yeah,
Yes,
much better. So I will show you this I was talking about the miniatures. Because I'm talking about the video, I can see that I'm sharing the screen, but it was not correct. Okay. I'm so sorry.
Can we
I
move
apologize.
back another 5 minutes?
No
Because
problem, no problem. So
right.
here is the small soccer field. You can see they use tactiles. And they are learning the distances for the field of play, also for the dojo and the tatami. Counting the distance.
Dr. Dusana, maybe you'd like to press on full screen because you're only seeing part of the screen. If you can actually press on the button for full screen display.
Is it okay now?
Yes, it's better. For us, it's okay.
Okay, perfect. Just tell me. No problem. I will have more videos later. This is it. This is for running. Look. He's touching her. How legs are working. So it has more than 20 minutes. I will send you the link for the video. This is very nice. Let's see. So look, they can play baseball. So they can perform also kata. It is easy. You have many strategies how to teach the athlete with visual impairment. So I will send it to Mr. Vincent and he will share it with you. Okay, I'm going back to the presentation and I will share the screen again. Okay, we are back. Okay. This slide is about the classification of people with visual impairment. For now, we have only one sport class for all these people. So we are using the factor system, as I mentioned before. So we have a extra score. And for people who are absolutely blinded, we use the maximal score. It is 3. And so with people with the minimal level of impairment, it is this line. It is 0. So we don't do the extra classification during the classification session. We are giving the extra points according this table. This table is in the medical diagnostic form you can find on the WKF web page. If you will go, or the athlete with some assistant will go to the doctor, please do only one cross in this table. Only one. It is mentioned here. Please do only one cross and do it according the less impaired eye. So if you lost some eye, we will evaluate the athlete or you according your less impaired eye. So if you have one eye absolutely okay and the second eye you don't have, you are not eligible to compete during the WKF para karate competition. I am so sorry, but people with this kind of impairment are able to drive the car. So please read the minimal eligible criteria carefully. I think this is everything about visual impairment. If you have some questions, please do some notes and you can ask me at the end of the presentation. We will go through intellectually impaired athletes, and I have here 2 videos. This is from the motivation camp we organized during summer, and these athletes are non-karatekas. Only this one is a para-karateka, and these girls, you saw them at the video performing the basic kata. These 3 athletes are not disabled, but you will see how they help me during the karate training or the para-karate training. So if you see that there are some problems, you can go lower as with people with disabilities. These people are very polite, full of energy, and they can try and do everything. So you can see how able-bodied athletes help me a lot without special training or special education for people with disabilities. And this second is about Kiyai. They were very happy that we were practicing karate with them. You can see also people with a wheelchair here. It can happen that wheelchair users can have more than one impairment. So you can choose if the athlete will compete in intellectually impaired category, but they have to perform the kata standing up, or if he or she will compete in wheelchair users, then the athlete can use the wheelchair. So how to communicate with these people? If they are accompanying with parents or with personal assistants, don't talk to the personal assistant or to parents. Please communicate with these people directly and communicate with them absolutely normally. And if you see some problems, go lower and lower and use short sentences and speak a bit slower. What is necessary during training? Please give to these athletes some extra task, some extra time to complete the task. Work with them with small groups and give them some time to do the task with the personal assistant or the partner. If it is necessary to train harder or to have more repetitions, do the video and send it to the parents or personal assistant. Please cut the training for the shorter parts and repeat all these parts at the end or after some time again. Teach these people by baby steps. You can use songs for better teaching, and you have to be patient. Please note that for now, it is necessary to perform only one kata during the competition because of the cognitive problems or how to say recording problems of these athletes. Maybe in future we will change the rules that the athletes will have to perform 2 katas. All other sport classes have to perform another kata in each round during the competition. So now I'm here in the classification of these athletes. As I mentioned before, we have 2 sport classes for intellectually impaired people, and we use Virtus classification recommendation. I will show you it on the next slide. The minimal eligible criterion for both classes is the IQ less than 75. For both classes, that people have a significant limitation in adaptive behavior, and these problems must be evident during the developmental phase of athlete. What is necessary for second class? Athletes must be free from atlantoaxial instability. So these athletes will need the X-ray for the classification session and also the blood test if there is evidence of trisomy 21 Down syndrome. We have also some special kind of Down syndrome. The name is the mosaic Down syndrome. These athletes can compete in the K21 sport class if they have the mentioned minimal eligible criteria. I was talking about Virtus, so we use the same evidence like other Paralympic sports, and for WKF World Championships in Dubai, you will need the Virtus eligibility. So I will go to the Virtus web page. It looks like this. So I will open the G again. It is virtus.sport. And you will find all necessary information here, or not. Okay. And they changed the page, so the athletes. Yes, here it is, applying for athletes disability. You will find all necessary information on this web page. You have the representative of Virtus in some countries. Please check the members on the WKF web page or the Virtus web page. If you have some problems to find out the representative, please contact me directly. I will help you to find out the representative of Virtus, because you have to complete the application form and you have to complete it in English, and all these informations are in English. I'm sure that it is much easier to find out somebody who can speak in your native language. Please check this sentence. It is very time-consuming process because you need the X-rays and the blood test. So you need at least 12 weeks for this kind of eligibility. So please start as soon as possible if you want to send your athletes to World Karate Championships in Dubai. So if you have problems with Virtus, just contact me directly. Okay, I'm going back to the presentation. That's it. Okay, now we can skip to wheelchair users. I have here a video. You can see that these athletes are using mitts, so they can do kumite. And I saw that maybe in France they do kumite. And look how happy they are. And this boy is performing also kata. I will show you the second video, and they will do the kata together. So for people, for athletes with physical impairment, you can adopt each kata you want. Just watch the video. Okay, look, he has only white belt with yellow ends. This is the basic kata, and he's not as good as our WKF athletes. I have here the world champion, Isabel from Spain, and I will show how she performed the kata. I hope that I will have no problems with the video again. Oh. Maybe it is too much for my computer.
Anna, is that the video from YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe you can, because this is a hyperlink, so maybe probably you can click this part and then go to direct from YouTube. Just share the YouTube. Yeah, probably it will be better.
Maybe it is too much.
Ms. Dusana, Dr. Dusana.
Yes,
can
I'm
I
here.
Yeah, you can send us the link and we can play from our side. So you just type out the link for us and we will play from our operation side.
Okay, I will try it.
Okay.
I will send it directly through Zoom. Chat, where is chat? I will send it directly to Vincent.
Dusana, you can send to my WhatsApp, so I can send to them.
It's easier to send it like this. I have some problems with the computer now.
Okay, Dusana, no, it's okay. Can you send directly to my WhatsApp or email to me now?
I'm trying the email, but the G-Chrome doesn't
You have to
cooperate.
go up. You have to go up to the top part. You have to click the top part, double click the top part, then you can minimize the screen. Double click the top panel, just double click it. You see the recording, just double click on top. Then you can minimize this, and then you can go to the desktop and launch your Gmail, and you can write the email to me.
But I cannot touch.
Okay.
No, it doesn't work. So I will continue without the video, no problem. But
Okay.
I have some white box inside my screen now. Maybe I need to restart the computer, but it doesn't matter now. I hope it will work. Okay. So please check the video. It is available on European Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. And can you see my presentation? I'm not sure.
No.
No. So I will share it again. Perfect. Okay. It works. So please check the video. You can see the adaptation of Ray. So you can put the hands on the thighs and how to adapt another techniques. It is hikite here. So we can have 3 types of hikite for wheelchair users. So you can do the steps of the propulsion of the wheel of the wheelchair and then put the fist on your chest. This is the first way. If you have some problems with the trunk control, you can use the hikite with the hand of the wheel. So you will stop the wheelchair and keep your body straight with holding the wheel of the wheelchair. And the last way of hikite or the finishing of the technique is to stop the wheelchair, stop the movement, and use the brakes of the wheelchair here. And then you can punch very strongly. It is very difficult to keep the wheelchair on the same place and also not to fall from the wheelchair if you punch or do the tsuki very powerful. So this is the hikite. You can use it also for shutochi in the middle of your body. The next techniques are for lower body. and it is the yokogeri. You can see she is standing on one side of the wheelchair, and the second wheel is in air. The similar technique is for maigeri, for the front kick. So she is doing maigeri, and it is very dangerous. You can fall down from the wheelchair, and for safety reasons, some athletes are using the anti-tip wheel at the end of the wheelchair. So it is less risky if you are using the anti-tip wheel here. But if you have the anti-tip wheel here, the kick is not very high. So you can see how high kick she is performing. And the last technique here is the jump, because in some katas we have jumps. So it is very difficult to jump in the air. So I took this picture. She is in the air. She was jumping in Chotamira Kushanku or something like this. And this is everything via pictures. If I have a video, I can talk a bit longer. Maybe the last thing is about the Zenkutsudachi or Sanchin-dachi. If you do, or if in the kata is Zenkutsudachi, the propulsion or the transition of the wheelchair from one place to the second place is a bit longer than for Sanchin-dachi. So please adapt the kata as you saw with the small boy before. And some words about the minimal eligible criteria. So for now, we have these types of impairment, but this is only the guide. If somebody is a daily user of the wheelchair, please fill the medical diagnostic form and send it to me, and I will consider with my team if the person is eligible to compete in the wheelchair users or not. I will not read the medical issues here. I will just mention the non-eligible impairments. So if somebody has a hearing impairments, for now, I'm so sorry, we don't have these athletes in para karate. They can compete in able-bodied karate. Pain is not eligible impairment. Reduced motor reflex, muscle endurance, instability or laxity, cardiovascular respiratory conditions, hematological disorders, and some kind of conditions which are not non-permanent. So each impairment must be permanent. And the first thing is always safety. So if some athlete has some problems which can be dangerous during training or competition, these athletes are not eligible to compete during the para karate competition. I'm so sorry. Okay, you can read everything about the classification and minimal eligible criterion in our classification rules, but we have also the shortcut, and you can find it on the WKF webpage. The name of the document is a classification information sheet, and this is the shortcut, and you can see the basic information which impairments are eligible and which are not eligible. And if you have some questions, you can send the question directly to the WKF office, and we will consider with the team of doctors if the athlete is eligible or not eligible. We will also do during the World Karate Championships some questionnaire about the para karate athletes in your countries, because the most important thing for future of para karate is evidence-based classification. If we know that there are too many people with some kind of physical impairment, they can compete in special category. We can write a proposal to expand the para karate competition for these athletes, and we will see in future if we will have them or not. Okay, how to register and classify your athletes. So we will provide to the national federations the classification course. It means the course for future classifiers. So it must be somebody who has a special background, especially from university, medicine doctors, osteopath, or physiotherapists, or psychologists. And then these people can provide you the classification in your country. For now, we have only international kind of classification, and it is 1 or 2 days before the competition. But the classification starts much earlier, and especially for K21 and K22 athletes, because they need the virtus. I showed you that you need at least 12 weeks for the classification of these athletes. All these documents must be uploaded during the registration on Sport Data or Sports ID. So if you are preparing your athletes for World Championships or Continental Championships, you need all the medical diagnostic forms and consent form or therapeutic use extensions, maybe 10 weeks before the competition. Please think about this. So if you are creating the account or the person at the Sports ID, you have to upload all necessary documentation. Then you can register the athlete to Sport Data. When you registered somebody to Sport Data, the athlete is not directly in the competition or list of competitors, but he or she is in the waiting list. And this is the step for me as a classifier. I do the pre-classification. So I will check all documents you have uploaded, and I will check the minimal eligible criterion if the athlete is eligible to compete in the para karate. And if yes, I will move the athlete from the waiting list to the list of competitors. Then the athletes can travel to the competition after the registration. The schedule for classification is prepared, and as I said, it is 1 or 2 days before the competition, so you have to count with this extra day. And we will check everything during the classification session, and if everything is okay, then is the competition for athletes. Okay, this is the Sports ID picture, and I think it is, I'm not sure if it is enough big, but the necessary information is, if you don't provide the documentations, I will not move the athlete from the waiting list. He is not eligible to go to the classification session, because we don't have time to read all the psychological documentation, etc. Directly during the classification. We will have approximately 150 athletes in Dubai, and it is no time to check minimal eligible criterion during this period. So I have to do it before the competition. So if you are at the classification session, you will need athlete's accreditation, athlete's passport, and original medical diagnostic forms. This NDF are medical diagnostic forms. All these documents must be in English, and if the original document is not in English, it must be translated by official translator. And we will check everything, stamps, signs, the registration number of the doctor, etc. Then we check the WKF karate-gi. So athletes must be in karate-gi during the classification session, because we will do some measurements and they will perform the kata. For visually impaired athletes, they have to be at the classification with blindfolds, and the wheelchair users must be there with the competition wheelchair, because we will do the photo of the wheelchair. If everything is correct, you can check the size, the measurements of the wheelchair in WKF rules and regulations, and we will check also leg straps, because you can be fixated to the wheelchair. The maximum is 3. Okay, and also we will check the shoes, socks, etc. And then is the classification. This part is confidential, so I will not talk about the tests we do. This is the responsibility of classifier, and especially we don't provide this information because it is not okay if you know what we will do with intellectually people. So it is better to us to have a objective data during the classification. So we have some special Excel file, and this Excel file computes the extra score at the end of classification. We have a panel of classifiers, so it is not the decision, only my decision, but it is some output of 3 or more specialists in this field. I'm not talking about classification. So after the classification, you will receive the classification status. For now, almost everybody have the classification status review, because we have changed the rules. So we will do the new classification for all athletes in Dubai. Some athletes will have a sport class status confirmed, especially absolutely blinded athletes. And some athletes will have a fixed date of review, because some disabilities or some impairments have progress. So it can be worse and worse. So the athletes will receive more and more extra points in future. This is very important slide. Because we had some problems with misrepresentations, it means with cheating. And because of this, we follow the International Paralympic Committee international misrepresentation rules. So the athletes who cheat during the classification session are directly disqualified from the tournament, and we will do some more restrictions and consequences to the athlete and also to the coach. Okay, so we record the classification session. So you can see this is from the classification session. We do some special measurements and cognitive tests and recognition tests for these athletes. And we have records from the classification session and also records from the competition in case of the protest or appeal from the National Federation or somebody else. So we will deal with this after the competition. So if somebody is cheating, he or she is disqualified. And we have also some more examples for disqualification. So if blindfolds fell down on the floor, if the wheelchair is different as during the classification, and if sport glasses are on the floor, or you have another number of leg straps, everything is described in para karate rules very well, and also Mr. Javier Escalante will talk about this a bit later. Okay, next slide. The most important thing about para karate is integration. So this is the almost last slide of my presentation. And this is the reason why we don't have much more sport classes as International Paralympic Committee classification code of athletes provide, that we can have more than 40 sport classes in para karate. But if we have a number like this, it is impossible to have this event during the able-bodied karate competition. And this is one of the biggest benefits to have para karate athletes inside the able-bodied competitions, because the audience and the atmosphere and the live television broadcast. And I think this is almost everything. And I'm very happy that I could present what I know about para karate to AKF. And if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me or write me an email. Thank you very much again for organizing this webinar.
Thank you, Dr. Dusana, for that very, very well-full knowledge in terms of para karate. I believe a lot of our attendees do have a lot of questions, but at this time, I would request that the attendees, please do not just raise your hand, type your questions in the question and answer column, and which we will invite both of our panelists to address those questions at the end, towards the end of tonight's webinar or today's webinar. So meanwhile, I think, I think like what Dr. Dusana has said, you know, it's about integration, no segregation. I think that is the main point that we all pick up. And it's certainly very light-heartening to actually see the inclusiveness of our counterpart, our disability karatekas able to actually participate even at the Olympic level. So with that, I think we will be back. We'll be calling for a break for all of you to actually take a short break. Perhaps you probably like to take a drink or whatsoever. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, where our chairman of WKF Referee Commission and WKF Sports Commission, Mr. Rafael Aghayev, will be sharing even more on para karate. We'll see you in 10 minutes' time. Our very first AKF Para Karate webinar. I trust that all of you have actually taken a very nice break over the past 10 minutes. And all of you perhaps very excited to actually hear or to actually see from our next presenter. There's none other than Mr. Rafael Aghayev, the chairman of the WKF Referee Commission and WKF Sports Commission. Mr. Rafael Aghayev, please take on the scene. Thank you.
Thank you, President Wang, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we begin, I'd like to express my gratitude to the Asian Karate Federation for the initiative, also to President Major General Nasser Al-Rasuki for inviting me to participate in today's webinar about para karate. Also, my thanks to the AKF Executive Committee for your support and friendship. My name is Javier Escalante. It's my pleasure to be here with you. I'm going to show a presentation that is only a technical presentation for kata judges regarding how to evaluate and how to judge kata. This is short presentation. It's about 10 to 12 minutes. So now I will try to connect me. Something is wrong. I don't know why.
I think we had to wait a little bit longer to get for the system to.
Okay, thank you.
Not yet, Javier. We still don't see it yet. Can you give it a little bit time? Because I can see here from your signal is a bit now normal, your signal. Yeah.
Do you see it?
Yes, now, okay.
Is it working now?
Yeah.
Yes, we see it now.
Yes.
You can proceed now, Javier.
Okay, 1 second, please. And also, do you see this red dot?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
things are working. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Mansour. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin. Regarding para karate judgment in kata competition, there are 5 main differences or 5 main exceptions of the rules that comes from the able body competition rules in kata. The first exception is the classification, something that Dushana gave us a very good presentation about. I'm only going to tell you that the reason why we have to have classification is, first of all, to see that the competitor can compete in para karate. Number 2, to ensure that the athlete's impairment is relevant to the performance, of course, and the most important, to guarantee fair play. Also, the WKF Para Karate Commission has a classification committee with classification panels, administrators, and classifiers. Their job is to conduct evaluation before championships. During those evaluations, they decide to give some score compensation. That means extra points from 0 to 3. And those extra points will be automatically added to the judge score. This is something that it is done, is programmed in the software of the competition. The second difference, the second exception is that in para karate, we have individual kata only. We don't have a team, we don't have bunkai. There are 3 categories, and in those 3 categories, we have 4 sports classes. First, the visual disabled, then we have the intellectually disabled, and the physical disabled. The visually disabled, they have to have blindfolds in order to compete. The intellectually disabled, we have 2 categories, 2 classes. The K21, which is low to moderate intellectual disability, and K22, those are athletes with more severe disability. Regarding the athletes in wheelchairs, that's the K30, those are athletes with physical or motor disability. They will compete sitting in a wheelchair, while all other classes will perform the kata standing up. In case of fire or emergency evacuation, of course, we all have to help, but according to the rules, it is the national coaches that are responsible for the safe removal of the athletes. Also, in case we have doping control or they have to do another additional classification testing, again, it's the national coaches who are responsible for the athletes' attendance. The third main exception from the WKF rules is that in para karate, we have not only coaches, but also assistants. Besides that, we have medical service animals, something that is very important for the competitor, and therapy, emotional, or support animals. Regarding the medical service animals, these are very important for the competitor because they are certified, they are trained to detect life-threatening conditions. And they are allowed not only in the sports hall, but also all the way to the tatami. They will be outside the tatami while the competitor is doing the performance. Then we have the therapy animals. I hear a little kid screaming. Could you please turn off your microphone? Thank you. Therapy animals, emotional animals, or pets, they are allowed inside the venue, but not outside in the perimeter of the tatami. So it's a big difference between therapy animals and medical service animals. Wheelchairs, athletes, they can, if they want, to protect their feet by wearing shoes and socks. Shoes and socks has to be white and they cannot have any logotype of trademarks. And they has to be the short type. So both socks and shoes cannot be longer than the ankles, as you have it in these two pictures. Also in para karate, prescription sport glasses, they are allowed for both the intellectually disabled and wheelchair athletes. Both the glasses and the straps have to be approved by the Para Karate Commission, and the glasses has to have straps in order to secure the glasses against the head. Prostheses, canes, and crutches are not allowed in competition. And the blindfold has to be of very discreet color, like gray, blue, black, and they cannot have any logo or advertisement at all. Electric wheelchairs or wheelchairs with electric drive support are not allowed. Now, in the wheelchairs, having one or two anti-tip castors is okay. They are allowed because of safety purposes. Of course, the less they have, the most they risk, I guess the most points they get during the classification. Please notice that this kind of castors are not allowed. This is homemade, and in this case, the classification officer thought that this is a little bit dangerous, very fine corners here. So the castors has to be something that comes with the share, not homemade like this one. But this is something that we judges don't take care of. This is something that at the classification, they will take care of. Please take a look at those two pictures. Both are wheelchair athletes. The difference is that this gentleman or this athlete is sitting right, straight, and this one needs to sit in this position. This is also allowed. As I said, prostheses are not allowed, so the athletes, the competitor, have to take care of, leave it on the side, and compete without it. The wheelchair that goes through the classification has to be the same that the competitor bring to the competition. If they alter something or if they change the share, then it will be a disqualification. Also, the competitors, they have the right to have leg straps, but those have to be, number one, they have to be white. Number two, they cannot have logos or any kind of marketing. And number three, a maximum of 3 leg straps all the way from the ankles to from the hips to the ankles. No, the upper body cannot have fixation at all. The intellectually disabled category, they can repeat the same kata during all the rounds, while the other two categories, visual impairment and wheelchair, they have to do a new kata for every round. This is a very important message to all of you, kata judges. Please understand that variations in the performance has to be accepted due to the type of impairment. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but this is an important message that we need to take care of. Exception number 4 is in para karate, the fouls and the disqualifications. If we begin with fouls, these kind of fouls that you read here are the same as a WKF kata competition, but in para karate, you have 2 more fouls. Number 1, in case the blindfold uncover one eye or both eyes during the performance, that is a foul. And number 2, in case the leg straps we have just talked about or the sport glasses, they are coming off the proper place during the performance, like in this case. If you see these pictures, blindfolds falling off during the performance is a disqualification. So if the blindfold is on the tatami, like in able-body karate, when they lose the belt and the belt ended up on the tatami, that is a disqualification. But if the blindfold only uncovered the eye during the performance, but it's still on the competitor's face or neck, so it is only a foul. Regarding disqualification, please, and this was the message that I wanted to come back to, we have to be careful. The reason for disqualifications, as it says here, has to be treated with care. Because the competitors, they have clinical conditions, and that can influence certain behaviors. So please don't believe that the competitors don't want to hear you or don't want to do as you are telling them. And this is something very important. So I go back and repeat, before you disqualify, you have to be very careful and have a good reason, technical reason, for example, for disqualification. And of course, like in variable karate, you have always the possibility to talk to the judge panel. In that tatami, you have the possibility of fukuitin shugo and discuss the matter before you disqualify. Exception number 5, and perhaps the biggest exception we have, Dushana told us a little bit about it, is that in para karate, regarding the evaluation, we have 2 differences. Number 1, we are only taking off the lowest and the highest. That means 5 judges are taking the decision. And after the decision has been taken, then the extra score, the score coming from the classification, will be added automatically before you can see a total score. As I said before, this is something that is in the program and it comes automatically. Competitors in wheelchairs, they have the right to have advertising, sponsors, but only in the main wheels, either 1 or 2. The rest of the parts of the wheelchair is not allowed to put anything. As we said, in para karate, we have not only coaches, we have also assistants. And like the coaches, they have to, during the elimination, to wear tracksuit, just like the coaches. Also, during medal bouts, they have to wear, if it's a male, dark suit with shirt and tie, female, dark dress or pantsuit, shirt and jacket. This is my last slide. This is the layout of the tatami. As you see, it is like variable karate kata tatami, with the difference that they have a ramp, for example, for wheelchairs, also for the animals. Another difference is that if the competitor has both assistant and coach, the coaches will be sitting here and the assistants will be sitting there. But in case the competitor doesn't have an assistant, only one coach, the coach will be here with the competitor. And in case they have medical animals, they will be also here together with the competitor. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was it. As I said, it was a short one, but the rest of the rules are the same as WKF kata competition rules. So once more, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for your participation. And now, Mr. President, I will stop the share. And I'm back. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Big round of applause and thank you to Mr. Javier Escalante for that very good sharing sessions. I think we have all benefited pretty much from your presentation by both you and Dr. Dusana. So I believe there are some questions coming in from the floor. So if you do have questions itself, please post the questions on the Q&A button, Q&A section. But meanwhile, we will flash out the YouTube that was supposed to be shared by Dr. Dusana on the screen right now. Can we have the YouTube being flashed? So you can take note of the YouTube channel, perhaps to watch it later at your, during your own comfort at your own time. There you have it. That is the YouTube link, which earlier on Dr. Dusana was supposed to share with us. So please do take note of the YouTube link. And subsequently, perhaps at your own time, you may want to watch it again, okay? So as for now, let's get back to our screen. As for now,
We go to Q&A.
yes, we are going to Q&A right now.
Existingly, we just go through the sequence, Roger.
Yes.
So if you look at the answer part, there are a few questions there. And I believe some questions they need to be addressed by Dusana,
Okay.
which is of her expertise. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
I think, well, either Dr. Dusana or Mr. Escalante, both of you may want to take on the questions. I'll just have to read out the questions that are being posted. Perhaps the first one, I think that the first one was being presented by Dr. Dusana. The question being posted by someone from Indonesia, that they have been training intellectual disability persons to become karatekas, and due to their condition, they only train Kihon and Kata. His question is, any competition for intellectual disability persons? So I believe that was being answered by Dr. Dusana, correct? Ma'am, do you want to say something on this? Madam Dusana?
No need, Roger, because it has been answered. We have a mental disability classification.
Yes, it was being addressed, I think, earlier on in Dr. Dusana's slides. I think there's something that's very interesting coming from Mexico, okay? Now, they're asking about deaf athletes, because deaf athletes are not eligible to compete. If in the Deaf Olympics, there's this discipline, I think previously, in participating in kata and kumite, there are a considerable number of deaf athletes who participated in an event that is being governed by WKF regulations. I think some of the data were being mentioned, that there were some past deaf games that took place in Samsun in Turkey in 2017. So I think there were 116 athletes, comprises of 75 men and 41 women from 19 nations. So I think the question is, would there be a consideration for the athletes with deaf impairment to participate in the Paralympic or Para Karate Games?
I think it is very nice questions. I received a similar question during the previous para karate webinar. As I mentioned, I'm the new para karate chair, so I need to have more information about this event because I could not find any good information or objective information about this tournament. So I need to know who was the responsible for this event in Turkey or in Sofia. I don't know. I could not find some information or any information on WKF webpage. I need to learn something about this event.
If you allow me to say something about this deaf disability, I have come across the Deaf Olympic. They call it Deaf Olympics, and it was once proposed to the Malaysian government to organize a World Deaf Olympic in Malaysia. So I have checked with my IPC, my Malaysia Paralympic Committee. They do not consider deaf as under para. So the Deaf Olympic is a disability authority or department by itself. So
yes,
I have also discussed this method with WKF, and we find it very difficult to deal with the situation because the disability of the person who is deaf, which is more or less similar to a able person, just that they cannot hear, and so it is not so easy to deal with them in the karate sport, because the Deaf Olympic also have kumite. If it is kata, it is the same as us. But if it is kumite, probably they cannot hear the whistle, the beep, and the atushibaraku and the referee command. So that is a different field. Yeah. So that's all I know about Deaf Olympic.
Yep, Deaf Olympics, it's a separate sports organization. They don't have a Paralympic Games, so I'm not very well informed about the Deaf Olympics.
Okay, we can go to the next question.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Vincent Chen, our CEO, for clarifying that facts, and of course, Dr. Dusana. I think we have the next question coming from someone from Brazil. Okay. Now, he said that he is, or he or she is a person with a disability and general coordinator of the Department of the People with Disability at São Paulo's Federation of Karate. Now, he or she have a motor disorder, and the only way to participate would be in a wheelchair. But going to a wheelchair would be a regression in his evaluation in the clinical picture, as well as other amputees and those with prosthesis. So he would like to know if there are possibility for existing category to participate without a wheelchair.
Yes, this is one of the biggest weakness of WKF, that the WKF doesn't provide a sport class or competition category for these athletes, but it will be our next step to provide the category also for these athletes. But we have to think about the highest level of competition, and we would like to keep para karate inside the able-bodied competition. So we need to find out the balance about the number of para karate athletes and the number of sport classes at the competition. So in the future, the competition format of World Championships will be changed slightly. So I think we will find out more space for athletes with this kind of disability. But as I said, the evidence is very important. And if we know how many athletes we have with this kind of disorder, we will know to manage the future sport classes better. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Dusana, for that fine answers. We do have another questions that he has a multiple disorder student who has operated his backbone 13 times and still have metal straps on the backbone and with screw attached, which category can he or she compete? And he or she is a dwarf too.
I'm not sure if he or she is a daily user of the wheelchair. I need to have a better picture of the disability or the medical picture of this athlete. So please fill the medical diagnostic form in English and send it to WKF. We can check the minimal eligible criterion. But if there is only physical impairment, the athlete is able to compete only in the wheelchair users category.
Okay, thanks. I hope that answers.
Okay, Roger, I would like to address a few issues here. Some of you that wish to contact Dr. Dusana, you can write directly to WKF and then, or yes, Dusana.
If it is something in general and I need to have a confirmation of WKF, or it is about organization of competitions and we need to have an official way, I suggest to contact directly WKF. And if you need to do something personal and you don't need the WKF official channel, you can contact me directly. But please know that there are too many people and I am also dealing with the university's email, so it takes time to answer. So. Okay.
So that's why I say I was explaining to the attendee is all technical issue, especially the issue just now about the classification. It's best that they can write to WKF direct, and then of course it will take time for WKF to pass this question to Dusana. So and then Dusana, Dr. Dusana can choose to answer directly or via WKF. Because most of the attendees here are coming from recognized national federation. So they can also reflect the question to their national federation. The national federation can also ask directly to WKF or Dr. Dusana. Okay?
Thank you, Vincent and Dr. Dusana for that clarification. Yes, of course, please go through proper channels. I cannot imagine the 200 over attendees sending emails to Dr. Dusana, and I think she probably will go crazy upon receiving 200 emails from our 200 over attendees. I think the correct channel, like what Mr. Vincent Chen has mentioned, is to go through the WKF portal. Okay, all right. So I guess that's all.
No, that's true. I think there are a few. I think we are going through the Q&A. So. So one of the question that the two-person of the attendees have been asking, for intellectual disability person, seems that the competition is only for under 18 years of age. So what is the age limit for disabled athlete? Is there any age limitation?
WKF provides the competition for athletes 16 plus. So the minimum age is 16 and the maximum range is not established yet. But you can have a competition also for younger athletes, but think about the safety, please. Okay,
so it's 16 years and above, correct?
Yes. As for kata competition, as for normal kata competition.
Okay, so we have answered that. So Witness Swaran, we also answer you about Deaf Olympic, and we have also answered Alex from Sri Lanka about the age limit. Okay, and Coach,
I see one question about the wheelchair. If it is necessary to have the same wheelchair for all athletes, no. You can have your personal wheelchair. It is not necessary to have a same brand of wheelchair. It depends on the prescription of the medical doctor, which wheelchair will you use. So we will check if it has prescribed measurements. You can see them in WKF webpage, and that's it.
Okay. And there's a question from Mr. Muhammad Masawa. Please teacher, I'm a coach and referee. I have a special need. I represent refugee in Turkey. Can I participate in my team in the upcoming tournament? Please reply. So I can reply you. Please contact the National Federation of Turkey. That will be the proper channel. Instead of going directly to a WKF or AKF, the only channel and the best channel for everyone is to go through their national federation. And your national federation is responsible to deal with you and to reflect your need to WKF or the EKF. In this case, Turkey is EKF. Okay? Yes. All right. Okay. We want to understand the career and the congratulations. WK approved you, Chair. Do we see any more? I think we have answered most of the question.
That's right.
I think we have answered all the question now.
That's right.
Yes, ma'am. I see that if it is necessary to have a WKF approved wheelchair, it is not necessary. Each wheelchair is approved during the classification session. And I have a photo of the wheelchair. Okay, thank you.
Yep, thanks, Dr. Dusana. I think that's the last questions that we'll be taking for today. But before we have our closing ceremony, we would like to invite none other than our General Secretary of the Asia Karate Federation is none other than Mr. John Che. Mr. John Che, please say a few words before we call for the close of today's AKF Para Karate webinar. Mr. John Che, please.
Thank you, Roger. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. First, I would like to thank WKF Para Karate Chair, Mr. Dr. Dusana, and WKF RC Chairman, Mr. Kalvis Kalnins, giving us today information and knowledge about AKF new project, Para Karate. I think all of us got something from today Para Karate webinar. We enjoy and these are new things for us. So I hope that the first Para Karate Championship will be successfully held during the next year AKF Senior Championships. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mr. John Che, for that very nice closing speech. So there we have it. We are calling a close to today's very first AKF Para Karate webinar. Of course, there are many people that we want to thank. First and foremost, Dr. Dusana, and she is the chairwoman for the World Karate Federation Para Karate. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing the session. And of course, the other panelist speaker, Mr. Hava Escalante, the chairman of WKF Referee Commission and WKF Sports Commission. Thank you, sir, for spending the good time with us. And of course, thanks to our Vice President of the Asia Karate Federation, Mr. Rashid Al-Ali, for being together with us, and the other Vice President of the Asia Karate Federation, Mr. Alam Alave, okay, for being with us. And special mention to Mr. Vincent Chen for working very hard to ensure that our Asia Karate Federation Para Karate webinars to be a success. And last but not least, I would like to give a word of thanks to Mr. Manso for gracing the ceremony. And thanks to Mr. John Che, our General Secretary of the Asia Karate Federation, for doing our closing ceremony. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a good time, and we'll look forward towards our next webinar again. So meanwhile, stay safe, and we'll see you again.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.